What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Monday, July 22nd, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now it is 17:31 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have U.S. nuclear forces on high alert again today. We have several nuclear war command and control planes up in the air. We also have a lot of bomber activity around the U.S. and also overseas. The U.S. deployed 2 B-52s to Romania, which is historic. It's the first time they've ever done that. We also have breaking news from over the weekend that the U.S. sent B-52s up to the Russian Arctic, and that was also a historic mission because the Finnish F-18s escorted the B-52s up to the Russian Arctic. And we also have some major breaking news coming in from here in the United States from the election 2024 situation. So it does appear that Kamala Harris will be the new nominee to replace Biden. We have some video footage here coming out of Latvia. Latvia has started to place anti-tank obstacles along their border with Russia. So what you're looking at here are concrete little pyramids. They're called dragon's teeth, and they're designed to block the movement of tanks and armored vehicles. This particular location is at the Terahova checkpoint. Okay, so this is absolutely huge, and apparently these dragon's teeth are going to be built along Latvia's entire border. Well, not built, they're just placed all along the entire border with Russia. Look at this, guys. This is absolutely insane. So they're going to be placing millions of these dragon's teeth along their border. Poland just announced a week ago that they're going to be building the largest defense fortification since the Maginot Line since World War II. They're going to be building this massive defense line as wide as 50 kilometers along their border with Belarus and Russia. So something's brewing in Europe. We have to keep an eye on it with all the election chaos here in the U.S. and the attempted assassination of Trump. We still have to keep an eye on what's going on overseas. And this is the area where that video footage of the dragon's teeth came from. You can see right on this main highway here that goes from Russia into Latvia, and it actually goes straight into the capital, Riga. Okay, but this little amount of dragon's teeth, it will slow down the Russians, but it's not going to make a massive difference. Okay, they can go around this, they can clear it eventually. Okay, so this has to get larger and deeper for it to really truly be effective, but it is a sign that something is going down. We currently have a no-fly zone up over Wilmington, Delaware, over Biden's house, a 10 nautical mile radius around Biden's house through the next 2 days. We don't know exactly why. There's a lot of speculation that Biden is dead or that he's sick or something, but I think it's related to Kamala Harris. She's going to be traveling there for her first campaign stop, and she said today that it's the first full day of our campaign, so I'm heading up to Wilmington, Delaware later to say hello to our staff in the headquarters. 1 day down, 105 to go. Together, we're going to win this, okay? So I do believe this is because of Kamala Harris going here and probably meeting with Biden as well and talking everything over with Biden. So I don't think Biden is dead. But here's the official NOTAM for the airspace closure, okay? 10 nautical mile radius all around Biden's home. And according to Israeli sources, a meeting at the White House that was scheduled to take place tomorrow between Biden and Netanyahu has now been canceled for unknown reasons, maybe because Biden has COVID, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has requested an in-person meeting with former President Donald Trump while he's in the U.S. this week, and he is flying over here right now. I have a screenshot of his flight from Tel Aviv, and it's going to Washington, D.C. He is scheduled to meet with Biden at some point, Kamala Harris, and Congress. He's supposed to give a speech in front of Congress, okay? But this is the second VIP to meet with former President Trump. Actually, the third. The first was the Polish president, who was invited by Trump to have dinner with Trump at his tower in New York City, at Trump Tower, after the UN meeting like a month ago. This update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply has brought back their 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the discount, you got to use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com. And the link is in the description below this video. But this 3-month emergency food supply has a 25-year shelf life. It includes over 2,000 calories per day, breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, and snacks, all contained within 6 rugged, water-resistant buckets, and free shipping is included. So use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com to get $200 off or 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply. The link is in the description below this video. Free shipping is included. They also have a general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running various discounts. And to get to their general store, you just got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo when you get to preparewithNYPrepper.com at the top of the page, and you'll see their general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running discounts here. So use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video. Then we had Zelensky speak with Trump, and now we have Netanyahu. And Israel is preparing to launch an operation into the humanitarian zone of the Gaza Strip. The IDF says Hamas is entrenched there, and Israeli commanders have ordered the temporary evacuation of civilians from part of the humanitarian zone in the southern Gaza Strip ahead of military operations against Palestinian armed groups. Israel has already carried out several airstrikes on the area over the past 2 weeks. The IDF says the strikes targeted parts of Hamas's paramilitary wing. The IDF now appears ready to move to the ground phase of the operation in the area. So that could potentially escalate things in the Middle East. And we do know that the Houthis have put out a warning to Israeli civilians to leave Tel Aviv because they're going to start bombing Tel Aviv. And this came after the Houthis sent a drone Thursday night to the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv, missing the U.S. Embassy by 100 meters. And then they also fired a ballistic missile on Saturday that was intercepted by the Arrow 3 missile defense system in Israel. And we have some new footage that was shared by Representative Eli Crane from Trump's Butler, Pennsylvania rally location, and he gives an analysis of the situation. Now, Eli Crane is a former Navy SEAL. He's a Republican from Arizona. So I want to just play this video for you. He basically goes on top of the roof where the shooter was and gives an analysis, a quick analysis, basically saying the Secret Service dropped the ball. And by the way, guys, I will be going to Butler, Pennsylvania next Monday. I will be reporting live from Butler, Pennsylvania next Monday. I'm going to be meeting none other than the legendary Lee Wheelbarger over there, and we're going to be doing an analysis on the ground. We're going to show you guys the area. Hopefully I can interview some eyewitnesses. I do have a contact over there that I've been speaking to. So I will be going next Monday, so be on the lookout for that. But let me play this video for you guys. It's very, very interesting.
Alright guys, I'm up here on the building where the supposed sniper took a shot. It's not that steep at all. Just had a 70-year-old man back here climb up on the roof easily. See that water tower behind me? Had Secret Service or anybody had sniper teams up there, this guy wouldn't have made it 5 feet up this roof. He would have been taken out. Behind me, you see the windows that Secret Service was supposedly in the second floor of this building behind.
So he's literally standing exactly where the shooter was laying prone, and he's saying that the windows right there should have had Secret Service in them, but they didn't, or they weren't paying attention.
Wonder why they weren't able to quickly dispatch the individual. And then behind me, back over here where those red roofs are, that's where the stage was set up. That's where the president was giving his speech from. A lot of questions here in Butler, but we look forward to doing oversight and getting to the bottom of it and making sure it never happens again.
So very interesting, and there was a congressional hearing, and we are hearing now that Chairman James Comer and Ranking Member Jamie Raskin wrote a bipartisan letter calling for Director Kimberly Cheadle to resign. Okay, she's the director of the Secret Service, so bipartisan letter calling for Kimberly Cheadle to resign. Absolutely insane. And here we have a state senator from Ohio saying that if Trump doesn't win the election, then there's going to have to be a civil war. So let me just play this for you. This is probably one of the first politicians I've heard outright call for a civil war in this big event here in Ohio.
Please welcome to the stage State Senator George Lang.
We got time. Come on. Hey, we are in the fight for the soul of our nation. We are in a fight for our kids and our grandkids, a fight that we can never imagine. I believe wholeheartedly Donald Trump and Butler County's J.D. Vance are the last chance to save our country politically. I'm afraid if we lose this one, it's going to take a civil war to save the country, and it will be saved.
Wow. Let me play that for you again.
Politically. I'm afraid if we lose this one, it's going to take a civil war to save the country, and it will be saved.
Wow, guys. So this was at a campaign rally, and J.D. Vance was supposed to speak there. Absolutely insane. Here's the letter from James Comer and Jamie Raskin calling on Kimberly Cheadle, the director of the Secret Service, to resign. Absolutely crazy. And here we have a picture of U.S. strategic nuclear bombers landing in Michael Kogelnetscu Air Base in Romania. Apparently 2 B-52 Stratofortresses arrived yesterday as part of Bomber Task Force 24-4, according to the European Command. This would be the first time that nuclear bombers have been stationed in Romania. Okay, this is huge news, guys. And Nancy Pelosi officially endorsed Kamala Harris for president. And Kamala Harris has reportedly declined to preside over the Senate for Benjamin Netanyahu's address to Congress this week. Interesting. I don't know if that's because she's going to be busy campaigning. Hopefully that's what it is, and not that she's trying to snub him and be disrespectful. I hope that's not the case. And the Kamala Harris campaign said that they raised $81 million already since Biden announced that he's going to be dropping out. And the White House doctor claims that Biden's COVID symptoms have almost completely resolved. Isn't it funny how suddenly his COVID symptoms resolve, literally right after he announces that he's stepping down from the race? I don't think he really has COVID. I think that was just basically a lie. He needed a couple of days off because things were getting really intense. He needed a few days to decide what to do. So that's what I think is going on here. And a new poll from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution found in a hypothetical matchup between Trump and Kamala Harris that Trump would get 50.5% of the vote, while Harris would get 45.9% nationwide. The poll had an overall margin of error of 3.1%. So that's a lead of over 4.5% against Kamala Harris still, okay? And meanwhile, a CBS YouGov poll estimated that Trump would lead Harris by 3 points and Biden by 5 points. A Reuters Ipsos poll last week showed Harris and Trump neck and neck. A New York Times Siena poll taken before the recent attempted assassination of Trump showed Harris performing better than Biden against Trump in two crucial states for Democrats. In Pennsylvania, Kamala Harris trailed Trump by 1 point, while in Virginia, she was beating Trump by 5 points. And again, this is before the assassination attempt, okay? So it could be a bigger lead now in Pennsylvania. I know that Trump was leading Biden by 5 points here in Pennsylvania, which is bigger than his lead against Hillary Clinton in Pennsylvania in 2016. I think he was leading her by 3 points here. Well, now he's leading by 5, so that is huge. Looks like he's going to absolutely dominate in this election, assuming that it's not canceled due to a phony global IT outage again, or some kind of bird flu or World War III. And Delta Airlines struggled today with lingering effects from the global IT outage. Apparently, they had to cancel hundreds of more flights today. And this morning, multiple Ukrainian attack drones successfully hit Russia's Tuapse refinery, igniting a blaze in the northern part of the complex. Tuapse on Russia's Black Sea coast is roughly 450 kilometers behind the front line and is one of Russia's main oil refineries, so Russia's not going to be too happy about that. And Hungary and Slovakia asked the EU today to intervene after accusing Ukraine of endangering their energy supply after Ukraine said they would no longer allow gas to flow from Russia to Hungary through the Druzhba pipeline. This was announced a week ago. So very tense situation there. Here's the warning that the Houthis put out to Israeli civilians in Tel Aviv over the weekend, saying that they're going to start striking Tel Aviv with these special purpose-built long-range drones that can evade Israeli air defenses. So things are really going to heat up in Israel. Here's an official statement from Pelosi on Vice President Kamala Harris, basically just endorsing her. So it looks like she's going to be the one to take over for Biden. Here we have all of the nuclear forces airborne. This evening, we have 3 nuclear war command and control planes. We have a combat sentinel plane up in the air. We also have a presidential doomsday plane up in the air. Now, these nuclear war command and control planes can communicate with our submerged nuclear-armed submarines. The combat sentinel plane can detect enemy radars and pinpoint their location and then send that information directly to the president and the Joint Chiefs. So it sounds like Russia's nuclear war radars might be on, and that's why they sent this combat sentry or combat sentinel up into the air to try to get a bead on those Russian over-the-horizon radars. So I'm very concerned that with all this election chaos here in the U.S., Putin is going to take advantage of it and make his move in Europe, and maybe China's going to make their move in Taiwan and the Philippines. Maybe North Korea is going to make a move. All these countries are going to make their moves. The Houthis, Hezbollah, Iran, because all of them feel like this is their window of opportunity. Number one, because of all the chaos. And number two, because they're afraid that Trump is going to get elected. And if Trump gets elected, they know he's going to be a whole lot tougher on them than Biden was. And so there's that insecurity, that unknown aspect. You know, how is the new president going to be like? Whether it's Harris, whether it's Trump, They don't know. There's insecurity there. So far, they've been dealing with Biden the last 3 years, and he's predictable. They know what to expect with him. But now with a new president coming, and it's looking like it's either going to be Trump or Harris, there's that insecurity factor, okay? And that could cause these countries to take advantage and make their moves now before their opportunity closes. Here's Benjamin Netanyahu's plane landing in D.C. right now this evening. We had a U.S. State Department plane fly from Baghdad to Beirut in Lebanon last night, the second State Department plane to go from Baghdad to Beirut over the weekend. So it looks like these could be last-ditch efforts to do some diplomacy and prevent a major war, or maybe to evacuate diplomats. I'm not totally sure. And then here we have some aerial refuelers that were active off the coast of Cape Cod. Very interesting. We have some more P-8 Poseidons and sub-hunters off the coast of Florida here and in the Bahamas. So maybe some Russian subs here. Here's a closer look at some of these planes. Here we have two E-2 Hawkeyes. These are U.S. Navy AWACS planes flying off the coast of Florida. Here we have another AWACS plane off the coast of the Outer Banks. And here we have more reconnaissance over Poland and the Baltics. Here we have a Latvian, or actually Lithuanian. Here we have a Lithuanian border guard plane that was patrolling this really small area along the border of Belarus. Very interesting, only like a 2-mile wide area near the tri-border of Belarus, Poland, and Lithuania. Here we have a Russian VIP plane that went to North Korea. Here we have a Russian VIP plane that left Cuba. And then here we have a bunch of Russian VIP planes going to Eastern Russia and Siberia. And that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back later on tonight with more breaking news. So make sure you're subscribed. Hit the bell icon to get notified when I post these updates. And until later on, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.